Well, welcome to another evening of streaming. Particularly tired tonight. Had a pretty long day, so this is going to be probably a short session. Also, I think I am losing my voice a bit. Too much talking, maybe. Righty, righty. Let's see. I know I said I was going to figure out some layout stuff, so I think on one of these things of my collection. Not that one. Create deck. Oh yeah, so we had this thing where when we add cards to the deck, we should only add the specific cards that have been selected, not just all the cards. So that's something we have to do. And I had some general questions about layout, I think, about how we should indicate what cards are in a deck and how that relates back to the general collections view. I'm not sure if I've got the browser window running. Let's just have a look. Local host 2000. Yep. Let's bring it up here. So yeah, so this whole layout here, I'm really not sure the best way to go yet, because I started. Actually, that's a bit squashed there. I started looking at adding bulk add cards to a deck, but now I'm thinking, maybe I should just do the drag and drop thing in and out or something like that. We need a way basically for when you see the deck, we need to be able to figure out all the cards are in the deck and then know from this general collection what cards are in there and what cards aren't. So yeah, still got to figure that out. Let's do some technical stuff first though. So the first thing is I don't want just all the cards that a user has. I actually want to only return the cards for the specific deck. So I've got the deck here. I know the card IDs that are in the deck. So I think basically I just need to filter. I need to filter this by the ones that are in card IDs. Let's try that. Oh, it's not filter. It's crystal. So it's select. So this is a card. So deck, and a deck has what is D? It's a result map. D. What am I using? D. Yeah, so I think it's going to be card IDs to A. I guess I need to do something like includes C dot what's C dot ID, I think, something like that. Right, where's my spec? Includes. Here we go. Well, at least it compiled. Right, so we're still getting more than expected, but that might be just because I added more than expected. What does this spec actually do? So I created some packs. I just got all the cards, and then I added some cards. Yeah, so it's the add cards that we're checking against the ones that we pushed in. Okay, so we only expect those two, and we're getting back those two plus another two. So we only added two. Let's check add cards. Yeah. Yeah, so basically same thing over here. Except, where's our card IDs? Result, decks, get deck ID, update card IDs. Oh, so we're adding the card IDs in. So actually we just want that, I believe. Let's try it out. Good, good. Let's run the whole thing. My hair's getting a bit long. It's kind of sticking up because I was really tired and it was a bit windy, and I was like, all day I've been going like, oh, I'm so tired, pushing my hair up. So I definitely need to get it cut. I was supposed to get it cut a few Fridays ago, but the hairdresser was sick, and then I was sick the one after. So hopefully, the coming Friday is going to be the day when it gets cut off. And if I shave a bit, I'll start to look younger again. Like, the grey hair came after having kids, so like in the last 5 years, my oldest daughter is 5, so and my youngest is 2, well nearly 2. So the last 5 years, my hair's just gone grey white. It must be the stress of kids. Okay, so we did that, and what else did we do? We did this. Where's my notes? Did that. Did this. There's one other thing I was looking at as well in this spec here. I said add some cards to expose the failing to set quantity for cards. So I think here we need to add some cards. And this is basically checking all the decks only, and the deck has some cards as well. So maybe I should add the cards here. Don't need. I guess we don't really care about the result so much in this case. Let's add some cards. User ID, we've got deck ID. Where's add deck? So that would be the kind of add deck we need. Now we just need some card IDs. So what cards do we have here? none actually, because I added a deck, but we don't actually have any cards, so let's create some random cards. Create some packs. Add deck, get all decks. Add cards. Yeah, so we should do this in this order, basically. I need to do this before we go get all of the decks. This is like all set up here. So now we've created random cards for the cards repo. We've bought some packs for this user, one pack, and then we've added some cards. So I need some card IDs here from the pack that the user owns. So probably one good thing to check as well is that, can you add cards that the user doesn't own? So we'll do that test in a sec. Yeah, so now adding some cards. So we need some card IDs here. And create random cards. Where do we get the cards from? Get all cards for this user. And then we'll just, yeah, so this is again very similar. Cards, map. So yeah, that's basically it. So this is line 24. Let's run this test. That's good still. So I guess the failed to set quantity codes. Yeah, I guess that this would have blown up if we hadn't managed to set the quantity. That was the main point there. Alright, let's look at this test. So you shouldn't add cards the user doesn't own. So let's borrow that much. That's the setup. Looks like I might be able to refactor some of the setup together because it looks pretty simple. So this is owned cards. So we've got a user, we've created the user, we've added a deck for this user. We've created a whole stack of cards in the system that we can take, and then we've bought a pack as a user, one pack of rare. So a pack is 5 cards, so we bought 5 rare cards where one or more is guaranteed to be rare and the rest could be a mix or anything, but they're weighted to be most likely to be rare or common. Most likely to be common and second most likely to be rare. And then after we've added the card, we go and get all the cards that the user owns and we add 2 of those to a deck. Now, so instead of this bit here, what we want to try and do is, from these random cards, we want to try and assign some of those to this user, ones that we know he doesn't own. So let's check what functions do we have on admin. So on the card repo, we've got a find all, which will just give us all the cards in the system. I think that's a good place to start. So the find all on card repo. So do I have a card repo here? I do have a card repo. So if we say card repo find all, and then let's reject. Let's map first. This is the card. Let's get the card ID only. And then after that, let's reject any card IDs that we know the user already owns. So here we'll reject C. So the list of cards the user owns is this list, is cards. So I would say C cards dot includes C. So if this current card exists in the list, then reject it. So this will be some non-usable cards. This is cards the user doesn't own. So non-owned cards. They're actually card IDs because we mapped here just to get the card ID. Oops, IDs. So now we take that, and that is what's going to go here. We'll just try and well, maybe not all of them. Let's maybe just take a couple of them. Let's just take 2 of them. Okay, so we're doing the add, and really we want this to fail. We don't want this to succeed. So here we want to say something like expect raises an exception, and we should have some message like can't add cards which the user doesn't own, or something like that. Okay. If I can do that, since I don't really care about the thing, the value of this, I could probably just omit it altogether. Right, so this is spec 56, line 56. What's going to happen? I imagine it's not going to work. DB tap, divide method map for DB success. Okay, find all value as an array of UI card or something like that. Is it UI card? Will this find all give me back? Deck repo, card repo, find all gives me back an array of UI card. Alright, awesome. Just what we need. What's going to happen? So, right. Nothing was raised. So basically we just went and added a whole stack of cards that the user, or maybe we didn't add them, but we certainly should have checked an exception here to say, hey, stop trying to do this. So we could check here, since we know it doesn't raise an exception, let's comment it out for a moment. Let's see what we get back. So repo add cards is supposed to give us back the UI deck. So let's check the UI deck and see actually if it did add any of the cards. So this would be a UI deck. It's going to be value as UI deck. Let's P the non-owned cards, and let's P the UI deck cards. Is it cards on UI deck? I think it is. What is going to happen? Interesting. So it didn't add them. It did add them, but it didn't give us any warning either. I think I know why that is. It's basically because I took a shortcut here, and I said when you add the cards, filter them by get some cards, get all the cards for the user, and then filter them by the ones that have been passed to it. So this get all cards for user would only return the cards the user owns. So this may be cards that's only user cards here. And then we're only selecting out of that the ones where we include the thing. So actually there's no way to add those cards that the user doesn't own, because get all cards is by user. So for now we can just assert the list is empty, or we can add one card ID into the test instead of throwing an exception. Then maybe I'll come back and review that later. Maybe I do want it to throw, maybe. I don't know. I suppose, really, if you think about it, from the UI you won't be able to, because you'll only see the cards that you own. So it would have to be like someone messing around trying to hack it, trying to send like a request to the server, that kind of thing. Okay, so UI deck cards should equal an empty array of UI user card. There we go. I think I'll move that up. 56. All right, all good. Well, it wasn't really tidy up, it was finish. Only add cards that a user owns when adding cards to a deck. Okay. Alright. So the other, because I'm super tired today and it's like 9:30, I'm not going to do any big functionality. I'm just going to maybe do a bit of refactoring on a couple of areas that have been bugging me. So one area is enums. So I think on here I said, where is it? Yeah, replace string rarity and deck with enums. Yeah, so at the moment, everywhere I want to use rarity. Like here I've got rare, and anywhere I'm using, probably in card repo spec, you'll see like, yeah, angels and epic. These are a set number of things that these could be. At the moment they're all just like strings. So when I create a new card here, I'm passing in strings, and I could instead have an enum that gets translated into a string or into a number, I suppose. Having it as a string is helpful. Like its representation in the JSON is more helpful if it's a like a readable text rather than a number. So let me check crystal enums. See what the options are here. So enum, which is an enumeration, it's a set of integer values where each has an associated name. So red, green, blue. It contains the values. Values start at 0 and get incremented. Okay. Each constant has the type of enum. Okay. So I just do a value. It'll give me back the kind. Flags, enums, not so interesting. But this is interesting. So I can say, I can supply the integer value. It'll give me back the string value. So that way we could always switch back and forth between the two. So I think, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to create an enum for these things. So I guess I'm going to set it in domain, and I don't know, where does it belong? Just out at the top of domain maybe. And what is it? I don't know what to call it. Enums, I don't know. I'll just call that for now. It's probably not a very good name. It's more like card. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, so let's call it so rarity. So enum rarity, and we've got common, rare, epic, legendary, and insane. And then we've got deck themes. So deck theme maybe. So we've got angels, paladins, demons, and undead. Yeah, so that's the things. Right, so probably there's a few bits and pieces here. So when I'm doing JSON mapping, I don't know how JSON mapping works with enums. But if I was going to initialize the rarity, for example, I could say something like, give me the rarity here instead. And deck here would be like deck theme. Maybe this mapping thing will just cope with it. Let's try it. And then other things that'd be interesting would be mana, health, and attack. They'd probably be better off as ints, or even tiny types. something like that. Because at the moment it's like, yeah, what is it? It's just a string. I don't know what it is. But if it's a type called mono, then at least I know it's going to be. Actually, probably some of these values, they'll have specific values that they can be. So these might even turn out to be enums as well, because I bet they'll be like between 1 and 10, things like that. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. Okay, so that was card. Let's try and run the specs and see what falls over. I imagine some stuff must fail to compile. Yeah, here we go. Constant deck theme. Oh, probably just I'm not importing enums anywhere. Where's a good place to import? Where's the entry point? GoMec. Here I get everything from. Oh, yes. I think that might help. Where's the spec helper? Require source GoMec. Yeah, so that should bring in GoMec domain star. Where's my thing? Enum. GoMec domain enums. I would have thought that would have brought that in there. Interesting. Well, what's it saying? Card, DB card, require GoMec DB domain, unit spec helper CR3. Unit spec helper. Oh, I see. Need to bring it here. Okay, so the first issue is the card generator. It's taking strings. Let's go fix the card generator. Yeah, so deck and rarity I pass. Yeah, so now I'm going to pass a rarity and a deck theme. Now, of course, at the moment, they would be passed straight in here. Yep, which would be okay. Okay, now unit spec helper 26. So here, yeah, again, we're taking in a deck, which is now going to be a deck theme, and a rarity, which is now going to be a rarity. Goes into the card generator. Now, card repo insert's probably not going to be happy. Create random cards, spec helper 33. Okay, yeah, so now we can iterate around the enums here. for each rarity, and then and then we can set the rarities. Yeah, so for this thing, I guess it's going to be something like rarity common rarity rare, rarity epic. I wonder if there's a way to just iterate the enums. What's this? All enum. I'm gonna have to look at the Crystal Lang enum implementation. So enum, what can enum do? Oh, iterate each member of the enum. Okay, that sounds a lot better. Then I could just say rarity.each, and then create random cards. It's going to take a deck theme and the rarity, so now we want the deck theme here. Which will be angels, paladins, demons, undead. Okay, card repo insert in in the card repo. So that's one I was expecting here, because it takes a deck, which is going to be a deck theme, a rarity, which is going to be a rarity, and yeah, we pass those right in here. Yeah, so I think that's good. Right, serialization problems now. To Reckle, card to H. So I think the problem here is that this to H doesn't know what to do with this rarity. So I think or is that the case? Maybe I need like a maybe we need just like a to Reckle on here. Which basically just calls to H. Did that work? Deck theme. Oh, deck theme wants a sorry, I didn't read that properly. It's deck theme that doesn't know how to become a Reckle. I do believe an enum can have functions or methods on them. Methods. Just like a class of struct, you can define methods for enums. Def red, self color, color red. Okay, so I think on a deck theme I could implement to Reckle. I don't know exactly what it needs to do though. So independent method to Reckle for deck theme. Compile time is deck theme or string. So I guess it wants a string. Create all themes, create random cards, go around each rarity, create the random cards, insert, and then insert card to H. Well, I would have thought card to H would have converted the rarity to an int, to its int. That should be like an int, shouldn't it? Rarity at rarity. At rarity is a rarity. Maybe I need to. I don't want a string here. So what's the issue? Named tuple. To recall. Deck theme or string. Well, I don't really know what implementing to recall is going to do here. Let's just put in just a random empty string, a random string, to see what it says. With type JSON string hash k to s v to recall. Well, certainly doesn't like something about it. Doesn't seem to be able to convert very well from enum. I guess it doesn't like it. I guess it really wants to be an int. Okay. So maybe at the point of insert, we actually just want to insert these as ints when we come to the database. So instead of to H, yeah, I wonder what 2H is giving us here. Right, I need to do a little spike here to see what's happening. So in the top level here, just create a new little test file called a.cl. Let's create an enum called deck. Let's put 1, 2. Right, let's create a name tuple. Oh no, let's create a so what does card look like? Card is basically a class with 2H on it, and it uses the instance variables. Alright, let's just borrow this a sec. There's my enum. Here's my class. Not really bothered about that stuff. This can just be deck. It should be deck. I don't really care about anything else here. Or this. Okay. So let's try C is card.new, and it takes 1. Let's p out C. Let's get rid of all this. Right, let's run a quick test. So now I can say crystal run a.cr. Event constant 1. This is deck 1. Okay, that's good so far. Now let's do 2h. See what happens. Ah, I see. It's maintained the. It's maintained it. It hasn't converted it into an int. I thought it would. Okay, so actually, really, we want something like. Is it value? Oh, I don't know. No, sorry, not here. Deck dot value or get value maybe. Yeah, that's it. So let's go back to enum. So we can do from value names, returns all enums as an array, parse, returns the enum member that's given name, values, all members, hash, returns a hash value. Each includes to JSON. To JSON. To YAML. To I. Okay, so value or to I will do it by the looks of things. But did I see value on here? Where is value? Maybe I shouldn't use value. Value seems like. Oh no, you can, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, I should just use value. Okay, so basically, when we come to hash up the card, we actually want the hash to be the value and the rarity to be the value. Otherwise, the Rethink DB driver doesn't know what type the thing is. Right, I've got some tea here. Right, unit spec helper 12. Okay, so this should be deck theme angels. Then we're going to pass in a rarity of rare. Okay, card reaper insert line. Oh, still not happy. What's the problem? No overload matches card reaper insert with deck theme and rarity. Card reaper insert spec helper 12. Card reaper insert. Deck theme and rarity. What? Is that really the problem? Card user card before spec 16. Add card repo existing card. So that calls out to add card, which does an insert name description, deck theme angels, rarity rare. Seems okay to me, doesn't it? It's okay, isn't it? It must be okay. Card repo takes a deck theme and a rarity, doesn't it? Card repo, insert, name string, deck theme, rarity description. I don't understand. Let's read this again more carefully. I tried to do add card. No overload matches card repo insert with types string, deck theme rarity, string. String, deck theme. So what's this string it's talking about on unit spec helper? Name, description. Oh, what is name? Name, description, deck theme, rarity. Name, deck, rarity description. What? Name, deck name, rarity. Okay, well that is weird. Just had those in the wrong order. I mean, it could have been as well that I just... Well, can I see the differences? Where are my differences? Nope. It's not showing differences. Did I just mistype this? Oops. Let's go back a bit. Yeah, this was totally wrong. I had this in the wrong position, so this add card was never adding the right type of thing here. So this is a very good example of where the enums, help, because I had just passed 3 strings and they were just the wrong values. Yeah, so I would never have spotted that. Right, let's redo. Let's replace this. Yeah, so this is a good refactoring. Okay, what's from here? Card 1, code repo spec 21. Card repo spec 21. Oh yeah, so now we want the deck theme to be angels. We want the rarity to be epic. And I guess same thing here, except this wants to be rare. Same thing here. Same thing here. And here. Looks good to me. Yeah, here as well. This should be rarity rare. This should be rarity rare. Rarity rare. Rarity epic. You're all shouting at me now going, hey, look, no, you missed this one, you missed it. It's all right, I saw it, don't worry. One of the things I did see, I probably missed the other 1,000 things which people are going, no. They're watching it back going, you missed it, you missed it. How could you do that? It's so obvious. Okay. Let's run the G test again. Deck group of spec 29. User card repo. Card repo, user card repo. Create packs for user. Okay, so this is going to take a rarity, which is going to be a rarity. And okay, so we're filtering on rarity here. Card selection rules apply rarity. Okay, so these card selection rules we need to do a lot of work with. So here it should be like when rarity rare when epic, when legendary, when insane, okay, and then down here we're going to pass the same thing several times, I guess. I guess this whole thing needs to take an enum of rarity instead of what it is currently doing. Okay, rare. I could do find and replace on these, but I find it a little bit therapeutic actually just to gradually move myself down the screen and replace them. I think I've indulged myself enough on that. Let's do the rest the effective way. Right, let's replace legendary, replace. So it's pretty safe to just do replace all here, but again, you know, it's just indulging a little bit of therapeuticness. So now I could just go, wha, replace all. You know, which is effective. Right, pretty good. But now this is definitely not a string, it's a rarity. This is actually going to return an array of rarity, and these are all rarities. It means also that all of these have to be replaced with chance rarity. Let's replace them all. How brave am I? Shall I just place them all in one go? Here we go. Wah, all done. Sometimes I feel a bit nervous doing that because it doesn't always do the right thing. Okay, so that's all the rarities done. Let's see what our specs have to say now about refactoring. Okay, great. So now we're on to the next issue, which is it doesn't like that create packs for user in the user card repo. Okay, so user card repo creates user. So we're giving it a rarity. We pass that rarity and we get a rarity out of here. And now when we do the filter, we filter on rarity, which it was a string in the past, but now we need the value out of it to filter there. And what else is over here? Nothing interesting. Okay, so generate random cards in card repo spec 29. Card repo generate random cards. Card repo spec 29. Okay. Card repo generate random cards takes a string here, so this needs to be a rarity. And that should fix that. Oh no, deck should be a deck theme. Spelt it wrong. Good job that Crystal has a compiler. If this was JavaScript, I would have spent hours hunting that down. Runtime in the browser. You know it, you know it, you know I would. Plus, you know, late at night when you're tired, everything takes twice as long. Code repo spec 42. Card repo update. Okay, now we're on to the update part. Card repo update. Yeah, so this now needs to take a rarity and a deck theme. Deck theme and a rarity. All good. So the deck here needs to put the value and the rarity needs to put the value. I think that's it. Oh my goodness, is it compiling? Oh, yes it is. And it's running, and it's passing even. Yay! Awesome. Well, that was a pretty good refactor, and it was good to see all the tests that were making sure that our code was flagging up any issues, so that when we did the refactoring there, we had a lot of confidence. Well, maybe you didn't, but I had a lot of confidence that the all the tests I've written were going to catch any of the refactoring issues, and they did, and we worked through it, and we got to a good point. So it's pretty awesome. So there is one interesting thing that's come from this, and that is before we're storing in database. Let me show you the database. It says Rethink DB, so it's a NoSQL database. So in the Data Explorer, if we get the DB dev, was it go mech dev, and just like get any table, cards for example. Let's run that. So you can see here that well, don't know if you can see. Oh, that's a bit big. see here, but the deck was a string and the rarity was a string. But now if we go to the test database, we will see that there's no rows. I guess it got cleaned up. Okay, let's restart the app and run it again for real. Oh yeah, so the specs we have cover the repo stuff, but they don't necessarily cover the usages in the endpoints. So really I should write a whole stack of specs that cover the endpoints, so that for each of these endpoints I know that when I pass the string to it I get the correct the values I expect, and I get the correct JSON back I expect. So I haven't been writing any of the specs for the APIs, but I wasn't doing that purely at the start because I wasn't sure of the structure, how things were going to look, and this is after all a prototype. But now I can really feel, the pain now of not doing that. I really wish that I had started doing TDD writing specs for each of these, because now I'll be like, oh no, I've got to refactor some of these deck themes and rarities, and I don't know what the impact's going to be because I didn't write any specs. So I'll have to write specs for these. But just to start with, we'll just work through the issues here. Because luckily we do have a compiler, so that gives us a huge amount of support here. So this is way smaller effort than the database stuff we just did. So Gomec 53, this will be the insert that's called directly out here. So here we've got a deck and a rarity, and that's because UI card is passing through a string deck. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the front end is fine to pass through things as strings, but when we get into the server side and into database side, I think we want to switch to using enums. So UI crate card, which is this guy, it has a JSON mapping which maps to a string. Now I don't really know what will happen if I try and map here to an enum, because I haven't tried this before. So this is an interesting thing. UI crate card, when it receives the card, it'll be a string, and it's going to be like, hey, what is this? This is just not going to map, I think. I think that's got no chance of working. Just hide that one for now. So now we're in card Reaper update on 66. So that, interestingly, has gone away. But I'm just curious to see if that's actually going to work, because I'm going to get a string back, and surely the JSON is not going to map it. I don't know how the JSON is going to map it. Maybe I should try a little test. Yes, let's try a little test object. Where's our test object we had before? So I was to create for card a mapping. With this kind of thing. Yeah, so if I just put the deck, and I call that a deck, that's what I've called it here. Okay, and then I say, okay, let's go to JSON. what's it going to give me? Is it going to give me a string 1, or is it going to give me a numeric value? Who knows? Let's find out. Also, recently I found out instead of doing crystal run and then the file name, you can actually just do crystal in the file name. Okay, I need to require JSON here. There we go. Yeah, it gave me 0, deck 0. That's kind of like what I would expect. So now what happens when we do from JSON? So let's say I've got some JSON, like this, with a deck and a string. This is my JSON. I just got an object. What's the best way to do this? Probably like this kind of thing. What's here doc look like in Crystal? Here doc string interpolation multi-line strings. Here doc. Here we go. Interesting. Well, this thing is what we want basically. Okay, string. I think you can put any word you like here, as long as it matches the two words. Hey, magical girl Urimu. Thanks very much for the follow. You love TCG game. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you'll definitely 100% get to play my awesome game very soon. When I say very soon, it's kind of relative. It's going to be soon, just not that soon. So I've got 20 followers. That's awesome. I've probably got 21 followers now. I was looking at the ladder on Twitch, and it's like how long all these different things saying like you have to have like 3 viewers average over 30 days and 50 followers to get to affiliate and things like that. Yeah, games do take a pretty long time. And I'm not even onto the the good stuff yet. But actually, I mean, quite soon I'll have the prototype done, and then I'm going to start challenging people to play the prototype during my Twitch stream, and I'll try and give away some stuff like some of the cards. I haven't looked at the artwork for a while actually, but this is roughly what the cards look like. So this is the Angel, Euphrates, it's the Demon, and then I've got the Paladin, got the Undead one, and then I've got some new stuff coming somewhere. This is an Angel, this is another Angel that's coming. And yeah, quite a few more cards are currently in production. Oh, awesome. Unreal Engine 4, pretty cool. I don't know what engine I'll end up using ultimately. I think the first pass of this game is going to be in JavaScript, because it's really quick and that's what I know the best. And then after that, I'm thinking of doing a card pre-sale to raise some funds, and then after the card pre-sale, I'm thinking of either going with Godot or Unity or Unreal Engine. One of those. I really like Godot. It's very pragmatic and it looks easy to get something running pretty quick. But I'll definitely need a bit of help on that side. I don't really know Godot very well, so it's going to take a while to get used to it. And hopefully, if I raise some funds to the card pre-sale, I'll be able to get some other people involved to help develop that part of the game. But for starters, right now, the prototype will be in JavaScript, and I'll probably wrap it in Electron and also have a mobile app. Thanks very much. Yeah, I really like the art as well. I've got a really cool animation as well, and there'll be more animation and cutscenes and stuff coming. Yeah, so yeah, feel free to follow me on Twitter as well, where I'll be posting some of the artwork as it gets done. Right, back to this boring code. JSON. Yeah, so I was saying, if I had a JSON string which kind of looked like this, and it said deck, and then it had a string in it, like angels, and then I said, hey, let's go to that. Card from JSON. What would this do? I imagine it would just blow up because it doesn't know how to do that. Here .line must okay. Here I must have an indent greater than or equal to 2. Okay, very sorry. Let's try harder. Yeah, an unknown enum deck value angels. So basically this is really expecting this to be 0 like that. Yeah. And it's switched when it's created the card itself, it's switched it back to the enum. Okay, so that's how it works. So when I map this by deck, theme and rarity, unless I'm passing numbers back from the front end, it's not going to work. Which means if I really want to stick with enums, I will really have to use the number values. Maybe on the JSON on the way out, on the JSON API on the way out, it could be strings still, because that's more readable. But on the way in, it's going to be a lot easier to use numbers. I wonder, I did see a shard, crystal shards. What's it called? Serializer or something? No, serializer. Yeah, here it is. JSON serializer and validator. Documentation. Yeah. I think it's really important to test the game over a period of time. So that's why I'm building this prototype first before we get into all the effort of building the UI with all the graphics and the animations and the sound. Once we start building that stuff, it's really hard to go back and start changing game mechanics and things like that. So this really cut down version will be really good for testing game mechanics. Alright, it's only 10:30. I'm going to have to retire very soon. Time has vanished today. Really want to stream for much longer, but I'm just too tired. Does this give me any help with the enums? I'll have to research it. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a night, and let me make some notes first before I finish. So, create deck, purchase decks, replace rarity. So I'm halfway through this one. So basically, I need to continue with this and decide how to handle enum conversion to and from JSON with regards to the front end. So at the moment on the front end here, oh, that's pretty big. Let's make it small there. On the front end, when I'm selecting stuff and changing stuff here, these are all coming from the JSON, and if they're all numbers, it means I'm gonna have to convert them on the front end. So I'll have to decide. Lots of things to decide. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and thanks Magical Girl Remove for following me, and I hope to see you again. So good night, everybody.